Well, hello, it's time for pronominal suffixes. If you did all right in Chapter 9, which is construct state, you're going to be just fine with pronominal suffixes. Pronominal suffixes are what they sound like they are. They're pronouns that are attached to suffixes. Now, first we have to do personal pronouns. That's just vocabulary. Let's take a look at it real quick here. So, independent personal pronouns. I take my glasses off to read. Independent personal pronouns, right? They are used as subjects in sentences as though they were the nominative case. And there they are. Who is he and he is she, which is fun. Then you have ata, and you'll notice you kind of recognize that, don't you, from your second persons in the verbs. And then you have ani and anoki. That one you should probably learn. Take some more time. Who is he and he is she is pretty easy. Ani and anoki, take some time, put that in a good pile of vocab you need to learn. And then on the plural side, you've got ham and hema. Kind of recognize it, maybe, sort of. It looks familiar. Heina, and then atem and aten. Notice you recognize that. And then anachnu. Those two, the first persons, the plural and the singular, those two traditionally have caused an awful lot of trouble for students. You should take some time and learn those, okay? They're used in verbless sentences. He is God. Atah ish, you are the man. That's one of the famous ones in 1 Samuel, or is that 2 Samuel 11? Ani Yahweh, I am Yahweh, and so on and so forth. You just throw on a pronoun and then to be verb, and you've got a sentence. With finite verbs, they are often emphatic, though seemingly redundant, and that's kind of the point here. So, atem lo shamartem, right? As for you, you didn't keep the covenant. And that's really how you ought to translate it. And it helps you if you're learning Hebrew to become a pastor or to just get better at being a pastor. This is where a lot of your sermons can, I mean, you got 10 minutes of material right there. As for you, maybe not saying, and in the Hebrew we have an emphasis here. No, what you should be doing though is like really working hard to help the hearer understand that the emphasis is on atem, you, and figure out how to do that in a way that's going to engage the hearer. But as for you, you're the one reading the text, and you're the one who can construct this thing so that your hearers can hear it without being told in the Hebrew, because once you say in the Hebrew, about 90% of your hearers go like this. Okay, there. So don't do that unless you've got a chapel service full of guys who know Hebrew. And I'm not saying people who took Hebrew. I'm saying who know Hebrew. That's a whole different ballgame. Pronominal suffixes, and this is where the meat and potatoes of this chapter are. So let's slow it down just a second. All other uses of pronouns are indicated by suffixes. You're going to put these onto other things. Most commonly, nouns and prepositions. Okay? So here are the suffixes themselves. You'll never see this. So let's just skip right on to the definite direct object marker, which functions as a pronoun for the sake of this chapter. The direct object attached to the direct object marker, eth, which appears in most forms as oath. So you change from eth to oath for some reason, and then you add these pronominal suffixes. If you want to say I killed him, you say katalti otho. Otha, her. And notice there's a mapik in the otha. Let's see if I can get a little pen up here. Comment. Pencil. There's a mapik in the hey. That is a consonant. Okay, that's not a vowel. What does that mean? Well, when you see that, you should be thinking, oh, that's the pronominal suffix. Othaka is you. Notice how familiar looking it is, even if you don't know it. It's like, yeah, I kind of see that as you. And then othak, you feminine singular. Othi, me, right? And then you're going to see mostly otham, for I killed them, otham. But you're going to see ethem as well. Remember, the Hebrew we have in the Bible is like 1,000-year run, right? It's like Shakespeare would be the middle of English, right? We're 500 years from Shakespeare, and there's 500 years of English before him. So you have to remember that when you're dealing with Hebrew in all its forms. Ethen, you're going to see, but Othan, you're going to see more often. Ethkem, there's the chem again. Ken, you, and Othanu. Notice you get that nice little accent shift to help you get the first person common plural, Othanu. I would make vocabulary cards for oath or eth with the pronominal suffix on it. Failing that, I would do it for baith. A separate one for each one, scramble them up and memorize them, right? First, memorize the chart. Bo, babaka, bak, ba, b. Had to cheat. Bahain, bam, same issue. Bahain, Bakane, Banu, right? And then put them together and then just, 52 card pickup, pick them up and learn how to do the pronominal suffix with either eighth, oath, or the preposition baith. And so in him, in her, in you, in me. So this is just memorization. Once you've memorized it, and it'll be on the lamed too, and on the kaf, but it'll look different on the kaf. Just hold on to that. With the preposition im, with, and eth, with, so with the with prepositions. Oh, did you know that there was a preposition eth which says with? How do you tell the difference between with, which is eth, and the pronominal suffix on a direct object marker, which is eth? Well, the eth will double up. Notice how you've got this doubled meme? It's going to double up with the eth too. And so instead of otho, you're going to have itto. And that's how you know it. Okay? Still so far just memorization. There's not much to be taught here. You're suffixing the object pronouns onto so far prepositions and the direct object marker, which looks like this, right? Now, with some prepositions, you're going to get a lengthened version of that preposition, and this one you want to put into a vocabulary card as well. Kamohu. Why is it kamohu and not kamo? Well, you have that who ending, and you've got who is he. Remember from what you will remember from the personal pronouns, the subject pronouns. Who is he is kamohu, who, right? You'll see that as he. You might know a little bit more about the name Yahweh. It's oftentimes seen as Yahoo, and that's he is, right? So there you go. He is Yah, whatever. Kamoka, Kamok, Kamoni, and Kamonu, right? Mame is going to also use, the preposition min is also going to use a longer form. Min is going to go to memen, and then it will add the stuff. Memenhu will go to memenu, and you'll see that there's some problems right here. The cloak and dagger hey assimilates for some dumb reason into the nun, and so instead of memenhu you get memenu. It makes sense, just trying to pronounce it. Memenhu is going to be memenu in no time flat, so you'll have some ambiguity, but don't be afraid of ambiguity. Just work it out. Don't be afraid of marriage. You can work it out. We can work it out. Oh, I'm sure that they just put copyright claim on my Hebrew instructional video here. Mamake, mameni, right? So you have this doubled nun all the way down. Oops, it's not there. It's not there. There it is, though. And there it is here. Okay? Watch out for that doubled nun. And then mayhem. That's about right. About this point in the chapter, you should be thinking mayhem. Mayhem, mayhen, mechem, McCain, and memenu from memenu, right? So again, just memorization from here, remembering that you have your pronominal suffixes, which are pronouns for the objects of your pronoun object thingies, They're object suffixes for they're pronoun objects. They're objects of not of verbs. That's object suffixes of nouns and prepositions. So far, they're objects of prepositions, and they're going to be the genitive, right? Object suffixes are chapter 16. So this is just about nouns and prepositions, and we're trying to get the pronouns attached to them. That's the whole point of this chapter. Okay? Now, let's see a little story. Once upon a time, there was a boy. All right, let's do the ones for singular nouns. Now, that automatically should raise a flag. Now, wait, if there was a set of these things for singular nouns, oughtn't there to be a set for plural nouns? Well, yes, there are. Here we go. So with singular nouns, the suffixes are essentially those noted above, really. So take horse. Suso, his horse. You recognize this by now from Bo, in him. Or Otho, or Ito, with him. Or Maminhu. Oh, no, that's not right. But Suso, his horse. And you have a genitive relationship with the pronoun. Instead of the horse of the man, you have his horse. Okay? Susa with a mapik, her horse. Susaka, your horse. Susek, your horse, feminine. Susi, my horse. Right? What about mare? Well, first of all, let's get the addition of the suffix as a third syllable cause propotanic vowel reduction, and that's right. This should come as no surprise. Devaro is going to become davaro is going to become devaro, okay? When you want to have a mare, you take that as you are familiar with now, you change it to a tau, right here. And you add the pronominal suffix to that. His mare. Susa becomes susatho, okay? With plural nouns, you're going to get a different set. It says slightly different. It's different enough to cause you all sorts of anxiety and pain. It's sort of like Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back. Luke's pretty good, right? He's got everything down. He's really a good Jedi Knight. He's talented, gifted. He's got a lot of the Force. But see, Vader's a little older than he is, and as we learn in the horrible prequels that he has had his own battles, right? He knows a little bit, and this is Luke's first dance, and he just knows a little bit more. And like my favorite scene in that is like, they're doing the sword fighting and the acrobats, and Luke's doing the best he can, right? And he's doing great, and he jumps over here, and Vader jumps down here. Well, Luke is kind of staggered and trying to catch his breath, and that's when Vader does this thing. He just starts pulling things off the wall. And that wallops Luke, and he tells him the thing, that I'm not going to spoil the movie. And Luke says, no! And then down he goes. That's where you're at with this second set. It's like it's the same as the first set with slight differences, but it's just enough for Vader to get the whatever. I'm having fun. Are you having fun? So you can compare them. There's the singulars, right? That's the ones you put on the singular nouns. Memorize that with sus, right? Or even davar, if you want to be brave. It's like going into the tree in Dagobah. Do it with davar. Devarenu, right? Plural nouns, a slightly different, though similar set is going to be used. You're going to notice right away that every one of them has a yod. That is awesome. But it's not the real problem here. The real problem is that you're going to start losing things on the noun. And it gets to where nothing looks like it should look. Right? And that's the point of the Luke and Vader thing. It's just the fight wasn't supposed to be having to fight off bits and pieces of things hanging on a wall, like bolts and, like a control panel. It was supposed to be sword fighting, right? That's the problem here. You're going to end up with things that don't look right. you get bedazzled, so to speak, and you're looking this way and that instead of at the what you got. And so you're going to have some changes. So watch what happens here in example 8. His words is going to be divarav. What has happened here? Well, you start with divarim, right? And this is something you should know, right? You have propertonic reduction. Oopsie. I don't know what I just did there. I think I saved it. I hate it when I save it by accident. So that's there forever. You've got this propertonic reduction, this schwa, right? And so you're going into the game with this schwa, but no more im. It's gone. And then you add the pronominal suffix for plural nouns. And that's how it works. And you're going to do that with all the way through, right? The pronominal suffix has now become the only way to recognize the noun as plural. Okay, so check out 9 verses 10. Divarav, and I would exaggerate these things, versus divaro. Okay. The feminine plural nouns, well, you're going to get both the oath and the av, the pronominal suffix that goes on plural nouns. And so you'll hear this a lot. If you were in my classroom and we're going through these one at a time, you'll hear me do it longhand for weeks and weeks on end, into where normally this is late November, early December, and we're going to have our winter break coming up, and into January, mid-January, we pick up again. You're going to hear me say this into February, that, all right, that's the pronominal suffix that goes on plural nouns. Give me the pronominal suffix that goes on the singular here. How do you know this is the singular? Why, Professor, it has the pronominal suffix that goes on plural nouns. And you do it real longhand like that, and you'll get through this. Oh, yeah, don't forget about rule of schwa, propertonic, but that's not going to be the real issue. You're going to see the oath, and you're going to see the pronominal suffix that goes on plural nouns. Okay? So there's your box to memorize. Let's see, am I in the way? No, not really. Nouns with pronominal suffixes are definite. You heard me say it there earlier. Suso is his horse. Suso is his horse, as opposed to saying the horse of the man. The horse of the man, see? So it's the. So Devar Navi is going to be a word of a prophet. Devar Hanavi is going to be the word of the prophet. Notice that they're both definite, even though that does not have a definite article. Devar Nivio is going to be the word of his prophet. So Yahweh sends a prophet. It's his prophet. He speaks a word. It's the word of his prophet. It's the, even without the definite article there. So now you have another way to make a noun definite. You put the definite article on it. You make it a proper noun. You put it in construct with either ones of those nouns, and now you can make a definite a noun definite by adding a pronominal suffix. See, it is determined. That's why you call it determination. What's this determination? Definite or indefinite? It's determined by that pronominal suffix. It's not just anybody's prophet. It's not just a random prophet. It's his prophet, right? Oh yeah. Here's how you memorize the pronominal suffixes that go on plural nouns. You take one of these prepositions that take the pronominal suffix that goes on plural nouns, and they are most commonly el, al, and also achar, tachat, ad, and lifnei. To them, right? Elohim. That looks a lot like Elohim, God, doesn't it? Yes, it does. That's going to be a problem for you, isn't it? Notice that it's just the preposition with the pronominal suffix that goes on plural nouns. Why do they do that? I don't know. They just do. And there you go. Oh, special problems. Segolets. What? Surprise! Segolets are a problem. You're going to get that original short vowel, as you would expect. Malkaka, your king, etc. Sifros and Bokre. Plural is going to show some regularity, like you would expect, because it's pretending to be normal, like all the other kids on the playground. Milakav and Milakeha, Hurricanes, etc. When you get proprotonic reduction, you're going to get the pronoun, or sorry, the patak again, that original vowel. You got these hollow root nouns like bayeth, moth, death. And you've got isha, which is really problematical. I told you last time, you better put ashith as a special card, because this is why. Because you're going to say my wife, and it's going to be ishti, which is a long way away from isha. Okay. It comes from ashith. Right? Ishto. Ishtar. Terrible movie, right? All right. Remember I told you that peh, ach, and av are going to cause you some trouble because they go into the construct of the here yod. Avi, right? That's the construct. Well, now you know the pronominal suffix that goes on singular nouns is e. Well, how do you tell the difference between avi, which is in the construct of the noun following it, or avi, my father? Well, it's kind of hard, actually. My father, let's see. This yod should be understood as part of the noun rather than part of the suffix, since it will lead to confusion with the side of the suffix is that it has the plural. Let's just go ahead and, yeah, it's going to lead to confusion. How do you do this? Well, yeah. Let's see if we get to the yod. It doesn't tell you. When you get to a v, where is the a v one? The difference is going to be whether or not you have, yeah, there it is in the first thing here. No, it's not giving me the thing. What the key is here, oops, you have the comates, and with the v, which is construct state, you're going to have the hatef patak, and that's it, really. But you're never going to see that the first 15 times. Don't worry about it. As you know, it's kind of my mantra. Take your lumps, right? This is basic training. You're going to get beat up. You're going to do it wrong, and it's okay. It really is okay. This is how you learn Hebrew. You take your beating. That's why you go into the tree and Dagobah first before you go take on Vader. You have to go in and fail. You really do, and then train. Get your mind right. Set your mind free, etc. Yeah, construct a V. There it is. That's what I was looking for. I knew it was in here. Should lesson plan before I do these. Father's of. Father of is a V, right? The plural is avoth, and the father's of is avoth. And then what you're going to do is put the pronominal suffixes on it, and it looks different, see? Well, thanks a lot. But there you got it, right? Now you see it. You can see it on your own. Buy the book. Pronominal suffixes, it's just memorization. It's a lot of memorization. Notice there's not much in the way of vocab this time, right? So F is with. You need to know that because it's one of those pedagogical decisions, right? You've got to learn the pronominal suffixes. You've also got to know that there's a lot of ambiguity and potential ambiguity. There's follow me and stuff. So you got to throw it in there, and you got to learn this thing now, so that you don't get into a pattern or a habit of not taking some time to look at what you're doing. So F and F are both in this chapter. Here's one of my favorite prepositions, bane. McBain. Sorry. That was the wrong. There's McBain and McGonagall. Yeah, it's McBain, right? Yeah. Mendoza. There we go. Found it. McBain. Between X and Y, you always repeat it. It's just helpful. Tachat, under a blood red sky. Tachat, a blood red sky. You too, if you're my generation. Oyev is enemy. El is God. I thought we had Elohim as God. Well, yeah, you have El and Elohim now. How do you tell the difference between the plural of El? Just work on it. Yam is sea. Yamayim. No, it's Yamim is seas. And Olam is a long duration of time. Let Olam. You're going to select at my dinner table, like for example, Hoduli Yahweh ki tov. Praise Yahweh, for he is good. Ki let Olam chas do. For his mercy, that's the chas do, his mercy. And then let Olam is forever. Ki let Olam chas do. Chesed, mercy. Chas do. Now you know how to say his mercy. Ruach is wind or spirit. And you also know how to say forever. Le'olam. Ki le'olam chasto. The kids. The wife refuses. I don't know why. Ruach, wind or spirit. There you go. You get to work out all that problem in the theology of the Bible now. Okay, is that they're saying a spirit left them, or is that just saying quit breathing? And all the heresies that come forth with. Have fun. It was a blast being with you today. I hope you have some fun with this stuff. You're doing real well if you're along chapter 10. Again, if you're in chapter 10 and you're not understanding, you might want to go back and shore up things in chapter 9, because it really does have a lot to do with chapter 9 first. So you take care, and I'm always available for questions until my dying breath. I love teaching Hebrew, and I'll be glad to answer your questions, whoever you are. I might encourage you to enroll, but I'll answer questions for you, especially on these odd Semitic things that we're not familiar with in Indo-European languages. So take care. See you next time with some exercises. Bye.